Hey, how's it going, guys? My name is Mark. I'm the guitar tech for Kamelot on this US tour. We're going through Thomas's gear first, which would be guitarist, obviously. He's playing all ESP. This is his main guitar. They're all Eclipses. Basically, it's all the same strings. It's Elixir strings with 10 to 52. I change them like after every fourth show. So we have full 4 shows on the strings because the Elixir lasts longer because of the coating. We have 2 main tunings, which would be just a standard D, and then we have a drop C, which would just drop the E string down to C. All the other tunings we have, I come back to that later when we go to the amplifiers, because we have different tunings as well, but we're using the same guitar for that. Pickups, right now we're using EMGs. It's an 81 and a 60. Basically, when he plays, both volumes are full up, so he can go back and forth. When he plays lead, he doesn't have to fill it with this. I mean, it's 99% in metal, it's all the way up. Tone up, it's not even connected, it's off. Yeah, what else can I say? It's a fairly simple setup. It's like a standard metal setup, I would say. With this, my friend from Fishman, he sent us a set of moderns out for Tom to try out. We're still trying it out back and forth, like in sound checks, and he plays like a song or 2 on it during the show. But I'm a huge fan of these, and I'm trying to get him on it. They're just called Fluence Modern. That's it. You can find them on their website pretty easily. They're more like the modern version of EMG, I would say. I mean, EMGs, they're like the industry standard, but the difference from EMG to this is that this is a 3D printed pickup. So the tolerance in production is almost 0. So you buy a set now, you can buy a set in like 2 years, it's going to be exactly the same. We're still using the EMG circuit, so you can just plug it straight in if you don't want to have different voicings and stuff you can do with this. This is right now just a spare guitar. It's also an Eclipse ESP. He played it on a drop C and on a D, and it's just getting used to. I mean, they're pretty close to an EMG. They're just more open, more clear. So when you do like we're playing high gain. You do a bar chord, you can hear every single string, every nuance, which with an EMG you basically can't. But it's because the EMG is made in the 80s. This is modern technology. It's just evolved, so to say. Yeah, fairly. They're all basically all the same setup. That's his newest. That's his latest custom. He just got from ESP. It has the Kamelot K and a fretboard. Has a signature on the top. Insanely killer guitar. He had something changed on here because usually Eclipse with the binding is a pretty sharp edge, and they had it made even rounder, so it's more comfortable. You can totally feel the difference. I taped this up just to not fuck up the back really fast. It's a satin neck. I like these. ESP started using these. They're called Illuminates, and they basically light. It goes dark. They light up. It's really, really cool. It's the same thing as the EMG 81, EMG 60, volume, tone. Pretty simple setup on all guitars. Picks we use in tune, guitar picks. Let me show you. I have a couple here. That's the model we're using. They're called Jazz Jumbos, I think. Has his logo on it, and they're 1.5 millimeters thick, which is pretty thick. But because of the pointy tip, you can still play pretty fast and accurate. He doesn't really like the round tip. Yeah, I mean, for wireless, we can start here. It's standard Sennheiser 100, EW 100, sorry. German tend to, because W is V in German. We have 2 packs, so if I have to change straps if we were going to go through all 3 guitars. And for the changes, you can just mute it. All the newer Sennheisers, they have like the old ones, there was just an audio signal mute, and the newer version, since a couple of years, you can set the pack up that you basically go and mute, and the mute is the RF signal, so there's no signal going to the receiver anymore, which makes guitar switching with these packs really, really simple. You can leave them on at the same time. One is on mute, one is active, and when you swap, you just switch it. It's really, really easy. Right now, he's still on wedges and his cab. But he's kind of through this tour trying out the in-ear situation. because it's pretty new for him. I think he's the only one left on wedges, actually. I mean, Tommy has wedges, but more for like when he takes one of the ears out, that he can still hear his voice instead of just having to slap back from the room. But we're still trying to get him there. It's if you're not used to it, in-ears just shut you off from everything. If you want to have like the whole, like the crowd and everything, it's just a matter of dialing in the right mix for him, and we're not there yet. So this is basically his rack right now. That's the most convenient way to transport it. We could literally do this in a quarter of the size, but that's what we had, so I put it in here. That's his receiver. It's really, really simple. It goes from this to a Boss tuner, which he has on the floor during the show. It's right now hidden. So he can, if he wants to tune, he doesn't have to use the pedal board that we have in the front. And from there it goes straight into the Kemper amp. That's it. It's we have different performances. That's where we come back to the tuning. For Phantom or the song Mindfall, which we're not doing right now, I use a transpose and I can pitch it down half steps. So when we're in drop C, we're actually in drop B, without him having to bring more guitars out for all the different tunings. We basically keep it in drop C and then he's in drop B, and we do this in other songs. We go up to, like, and then, I mean, this is his main setup. This is just for the standard D, standard drop C stuff. He always has a main rhythm and a lead sound. Then for Ravenlight, for instance, that song is in drop C sharp. It's a half step up. So we have the drop C guitar, and the Kemper, basically with the transpose, we go a half step up, and then it makes the live situation way easier. Less guitar changes and less gear to carry, you know. And all the Kemper is basically set up with the pedal board, so you can start first song, and then it has a couple songs where he uses just that standard sound, where he doesn't have to switch tunings. Then we have Ravenlight, we have to switch tunings. Then it goes back to main. Amnesiac is in drop A sharp, which drops the tuning for him the full step. It's basically a really, really simple setup. The sounds are all the same. It's just that the transposing does the tuning changes. The only thing that's different is that we have, for the song Forever, when he starts, it has like a lead beginning, like lead overdubbish line, where he needed more reverb, more delay, so it sounds more like huge, which he doesn't need in a normal lead. So we had to do an extra patch for this. And in the song Liar Liar, which is the last song we play in the set, he also uses a drop, which also goes down to A sharp for this. Like, there's like one part in the song where he uses this for like, I think 2 or 4 bars, and then he goes back to the standard C tuning. These profiles are actually made by a friend of mine from Germany. His name is Sky Van Hoff. He did, for instance, he does like profiles for like Rammstein. The only top player Richard plays all the profiles he's playing live in the studio right now. It's all made by him, and tons of other bands in Germany, like mostly metal stuff. I mean, doing good profiles with the Kemper in clean and crunch is pretty easy, but to actually go and do a high gain profile which sounds huge and not super digital, and you see on my EQ settings, they're all flat. So it's basically, I can still go and say I need more bass and this and that, but you want to have a profile that actually already gives you the tone you're looking for without having to tweak tons of stuff on here. Because the more you do on this, the more digital it will get. And you want to keep that warmth, I would say. I mean, that's why I'm a big fan of this, because you can take your own head, cab, favorite mic, you know, and make your own sound. There are tons of other companies out there where they say, hey, this is a 5150 or this is a 800. But it's just their way, how they modeled it, and not your sound. It's more unique with the Kemper, in my opinion. Maybe there's also tone match with the Fractal, but I never tried that, so I don't know how that actually turns out. But it's a different algorithm, I think. Yeah. This down here is the spare unit, exactly the same. When we're done setting up this one, I just super easy USB stick, do a backup, restore it in this one, and they're absolutely identical. That tuner is basically just down on the floor doing the set. Just So we can, when he has to change tunings to D or C, drop C between the songs, we just use the standard tuner. This is, right now we're using a Mission EP1, I think, expression pedal. That's all we use for the wah. It goes into here, it's set up with the Kemper, so I can basically go like this. Really simple. And then we have a really simple lead tone, and that's the drop we talked about, where you can go down to A sharp. Let's go back to main tuning. That's the drop C. I mean, the cabinet, the PV cab we're using in JSX, he has this for years. This is just for him, you know, to get feedback or to him hear himself. He's not really in the wedges. He likes more like the band kind of mix in his wedges. Yeah, for instance, that's the first song, the drop B. And then we go to the main sound, which is drop C right now. Really simple. And then we had Ravenlight, which is a drop C sharp. And here it goes up. I mean, it's essentially everything is the same sound as I said before. So we're just changing tunings basically and have one more lead sound for the beginning of Forever. Good thing is I don't have any signal going. Oh, now the lights are off. I don't have any signal going from the rack to the front and back, so I don't lose any signal. The longer the signal passes, you always lose signal. That's always, it's not a myth. There's a lot of people that say it's a myth, but it's not. And this is just powered by the Kemper itself with a CAT, the Ethernet connection. That's all you need. You can set it up to anything. You can have like you can have 4 expression pedals here. You can have like a whammy or different wah settings or a volume pedal, whatever you assign to the pedal per patch. It's really simple to set up. Thank you guys for checking out the gear today. I hope you got all the infos you needed or even more. Check Kamelot online or come out to one of the shows to listen to the stuff. Have a good day.